camera's off. There you go.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
Circle S, the big Circle S show.
Well, I was going to do the all of them, but by the time this goes out, really the only one people are going to be able to go to is the Circle S show in Marana, just outside of Tucson.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully all the Maranas come out.
There's nothing but like fields everywhere.
Yeah.
I love that you guys soft ate it. I've always heard it Marana.
Oh, I don't
know.
The first time I heard it, Chad, was 4 seconds ago.
Well, you nailed
And
it.
if it was pronounced Morana, I'm sure they changed it to Marana. It took the first non-Morana to realize.
Morana is more accurate, yes.
The club is awesome. It feels like we walked in. Literally, it is nothing. Everywhere you're 8 miles from the fucking freeway, and it's nothing but farmland. And I'm like, this is a trick. There's no
like Porky's.
Yeah, totally. But we get in there, and I felt like I walked into a bar in Kenai or Soldotna, Alaska. It was transported immediately. 2 pool tables and like all wood tone, like even the ceiling, they pulled the ceiling out. So it's just rafters up to the roof, right? It's fucking insane. And then the gal who runs the place couldn't be sweeter. Bar staff totally reminded me of like, hey, what'll it be? Just totally, no sideways.
Her name's Bar
glances.
Staff?
What's that?
Never mind.
No, I'm just saying, like, we walked in there, me with my yellow hair, Tracy with her orange hair, and it wasn't like fucking sideways glances and like, yeah, what? It was like totally cool.
To see anybody.
Yeah. A little girl at the bar was there with her dad, and she was like, 6 or 7, and she asked if I was a vampire. That was the one weird thing.
How do you answer that one?
Yeah. Is that weird?
I was going to the bathroom, and then he goes, hey, I got to ask you, my daughter, she wants to know, because of your hair, are you a vampire? And I go, wouldn't the question be, am I a friendly vampire? Wouldn't that be better to know, little girl? And then I went into the bathroom, took a leak, and I'm like, how do I make some fangs really quick? Like some toilet paper fangs or something. Yeah. Then I thought, well, that's how you get in a fist fight, Chaille. You end up freaking out the girl who's probably scared already from the yellow-haired vampire.
He's got wads of toilet paper falling out of his mouth. What's wrong with this guy? Marco Polo.
You walk out with your toilet paper fangs, and she's already got a toilet paper cross, beat you to the punch.
She was ready. She knew, man.
A slice of garlic pizza.
The claim to fame that Marana used to have was it was home to the outlet malls. You could go there and and then I think they shut down, and they might have opened up there in just a different spot though. Marana may still be the outlet mall, but you can go there and get $10 Skechers and stuff. It's I
don't know if outlet malls use the comedy club model, but they really should. Like if you set up an outlet mall here, you can't set up another one within 50 miles of here.
Yeah.
Because there's only a certain number of outlet malls that will get you.
Yeah.
If they're spaced, they're too close together, it's fucking ruined.
Yeah, there's a lot of wasteland on the 10 going east or west where there's speculation and like whole malls that are just still there. And it's like, wow, even the post office closed down. Wow, what the fuck is that?
Outlet malls should be placed that you drive. You just get in your car and you drive to a point where you start getting delirious or thinking about killing yourself for long stretches of road, and then that's where you place the outlet mall. Yeah. And then you replace that thinking about killing yourself with getting a new windbreaker, and you're like, ah, shit, well, another.
I'm delirious and want to kill myself. Oh, a Christian Dior outlet, finally, some cologne.
Okay,
that'll help.
The next 6 motel in the next 200 miles. Cut some fudge.
I think maybe for Rio, the idea is that since these are all, and I'm of this group, these are all small town, folk. So you want to make it a trek, a journey to get to the you know, to the Nordstroms or whatever outlet you're going to, it has to feel like you're traveling to a utopia. You know, if they were all over the place, then they would lose their excitement. It's like going to all of America.
The Wild West of retail.
Yeah. An oasis in a barren desert of consumerism.
Now
we used to take a school clothes shopping odyssey every year to Marana.
Fucking hated school clothes shopping, but yeah. I would cry in the dressing room and my mom would bring options in. I'm fucking balling already. I don't want to try on 4 more fucking
Didn't you just get hand-me-downs from your 4 brothers? I can't imagine you got any new things.
Yet here's the problem is I didn't go shopping. My middle school, I started getting my pedophile I would go work for my school clothes money, which up until that point I thought that was part of my perks package of being born into the family. But it turns out, I could start. That was the grift, is I could go earn money for school clothes, and then I would get fucking $300 or $400 for school clothes, or not even that much. I'm trying to inflate my rate.
You don't want to seem cheap.
Andy holds up one of his checks from his molester, and it's like all the guys who hold up here's my royalties from the Sharknado 6. I was in 39 cents.
Yeah, I like to think I was a Paris model, but I was just another kid in underwear at the outlet mall.
Andy still gets Mervin's gift cards as residuals, but there's no more Mervin's.
Success.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would go school shopping with my mom, and you go to, like, there's fucking horrible choices. Now I see it as an adult, and it couldn't have been much better when I was a kid. But Coos Bay for retail is shit. And they go around to the 4 or 5 stores that had clothes, and I didn't like trying on the whole thing. Just, I don't know, I would get very emotional when it became clothes shopping.
Oh, I wonder why.
Yeah. Not that there was anything triggering you, maybe.
Right. I just got paid money to go get clothes, and then I'm crying in the dressing room, and the clothes don't matter. Yeah, there's some signs for, I wasn't being difficult. I should have been taken out of that dressing room and taken to a therapist, for fuck's sakes, not forced to try on more corduroy pants options.
Yeah, that was, as they say, as Sean Rouse would have said, an amber flag.
Yeah.
Well, the shittiest part too, Andy, you made all this money. That's your money. Did you get to pick out the clothes you wanted, or was that just money that your mom used that she could buy Tough Skins with, or whatever it was, and you didn't even get to pick?
That's what I think. I could have gotten a better value had I been able to go like Pretty Woman shopping with my guy. Trying a montage of different sweatsuits and hair colors and different swatch watches.
Maybe your parents would have included into what was going on earlier. Be like, Andy, why did you get 40 pairs of underwear for school clothes and only 2 pairs of pants?
Well, that was up to me to bring, but that was always a thing of interest on the other end. Is the underpants, and I get it.
I was going to say, is it a thing?
Yeah, you go. All right.
Did you come home with all new underwear because he kept all the old stuff?
No, he always he encouraged that. I remember him complimenting I was going to say colored underwear, and I don't want to use that term because it sounds racist.
Underwear of color.
Yeah. Like non-white underpants. It's okay to have non-white underwear. It's just not okay if it started out white.
Underpants of Hispanic origin.
Yeah.
South of the border. Wait, that's the whole thing.
I still like the idea of you doing a Pretty Woman style shopping spree. Like I can see you in Spencer's. Like you get kicked out of Spencer's for like thumbing through some rock posters or whatever, and then you come back with your molester and you do like big mistake.
Hey, I think I'll be taking that poster now.
You just blew the biggest sale.
Take that Beachy poster down off the wall. I'm taking it.
And then the kid at Spencer's is like following Andy around, and the molester is like, no, I'm gonna check in the back. There should be more. Oh, black lights? Yeah, we'll throw in a couple of extra bulbs for free. Yeah, over here. Yeah. Well, he's your guardian. You can go into the 18 and over black light section and check out the bachelorette party stuff.
Ball gag, sir.
And it really that analogy, if you think about it, really points to the kind of fucked upness of the Pretty Woman. Like that's kind of problematic already because the analogy here breaks down because in Pretty Woman they fall in love. So
they both fall in love.
In real life, you should be able to murder. Like the story should have worked out that Julia Roberts got wise to what was going on and murdered Richard Gere. Probably.
That takes a dark turn.
Well, I'm just saying, like she was being exploited, and
he saved her.
Yeah.
And how was Costanza wrong there? Right? Wasn't Costanza the voice of reason?
Oh yeah, he was the friend.
That's a whore.
Yeah, he just wanted a turn.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Business is normal. Don't let this prostitute get y'all confused.
Yeah. Pretty Woman too. He comes back to his senses and ditches her. Goes back to making money.
Yeah, and then gets some mouth loving by a transvestite.
Hugh Grant plays the role.
I was gonna say he got Bonaducci.
I thought you guys were being serious for a minute. I was like, hey, these guys not only know the plot of Pretty Woman, they know that there's a second one and the plot of that.
Yeah. He got Pretty Woman 2 starts off with him going to get some milk at the store.
Pack of smokes.
and then the fucking house shifts like Trading Places. It's just like all new people.
I think, now that you talk about it, they should have done a whole series of it, but he's just collecting hookers. He's got a big mansion and he just brings another one back, and then they all have to, like Big Brother, they have to figure out how to work it out themselves.
It's a horror movie with a really long tease. The happily ever after is he chops her head off in the back of the limo on the.
Chad's got it as a reality show, Prettiest Woman, where he brings them back. By the time he gets to 40, welcome back to Prettiest Woman.
Oh shit!
They should do like a contest,
you can sell that, Eric.
One dude in the mix. All these women and one woman a dude woman or whatever, and then that's a possibility that you don't know until you make a commitment, and then you might end up with but would just inspire hatred, where it'd be like, see, love it doesn't matter, but that dude
you needed on your show.
The dude who ended up with another dude would get all violent because it's like a fucking image thing or whatever. So never mind, I cancel. I rescind my pitch.
We can do the commercials. Love is blind, but it's also homophobic.
Yeah, I just remember the reaction on the Man Show when it was a vanity. Now she was there to show. Well, it was like she showed her breast, and the crowd cheered wildly. And then she showed her penis, however you phrase that. And then the same crowd that was cheering wildly for her tits turned on her. It was like if it was a sports match, it would be like a Rocky match where they're now chanting for Rocky. It's like that's who we're like, woo, we love tits. And then when the dick came out, and then they were like disgusted. They were like, like it was like, oh shit, like he just rigged the vote or something.
I hate to be that guy, but I kind of understand that. I don't.
Yeah. Well, but they were only
it's a tough transition, man.
Maybe they should have been cool when the breast came out. Maybe they should have just said, all right, that's great, and then they wouldn't have been so worked up when the penis came out. And either way, I remember the two reactions is like just like we were seeing two different things. Like one, it was like spring break, Mardi Gras. The other was like you just saw a baby get its head ripped off in front of you. that it was that, like that can't be a comfortable way to live. No, knowing you could trigger both reactions from the same people.
I like it. That'd be like you go like, do you want this perfectly cooked steak right here? Like, yeah, and then you go and covered in Brussels sprouts. It's like, shit.
Yeah.
I like steak, but I don't like Brussels sprouts. Fuck.
Well,
All right, you
maybe if
almost.
you
All right,
maybe,
I'll try a bite. Let
maybe if you
me
just
try one.
maybe if you just watch Brussels sprouts pounding some other Brussels sprouts, you'll see the beauty in it. Oh fuck yeah, steaks kind of ruin everything, and they're hard to digest a lot of times. Just mashing them beautiful Brussels sprouts on each other. Except one of them, yeah.
I got you guys. I mean, we kind of hit on something here because in 2020 there was chatter, some rumors about either Pretty Women 2 or a Pretty Woman remake. Whereas they were the rumor was that Ryan Gosling would star as a male prostitute and flip the script on the Pretty Woman. So we're not far from it.
I'll watch that Gosling in anything.
I will too. He is pretty.
He's in I brought that movie up, but nobody'd seen it. Ryan Gosling and Half Nelson. He's a teacher crackhead.
I didn't watch it.
I used it.
I remember you bringing it up.
I remember this part of it. I remember is he was like just would sit and be tortured just so he could fucking do his drugs and have a conversation with with somebody. Like that would, he'd put up with a lot of shit.
It's like for free on YouTube, so
there you go.
Check it out. You get what you paid for.
I don't even know if it was good, but Ryan Gosling's in it, so he's a poor man's George Clooney. Or if you had a budget or something, you go, all right, Gosling.
I like Gosling. He's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's no McConaughey.
No McConaughey. Green light.
Yeah. You see?
What, you got it on?
Is that by your bed?
Yeah. He's gonna eventually there'll be.
No, that's the book, dude. That's
the
cover of the book.
He's gonna
it looks like a picture from here.
I thought it was a picture. I was a little bit worried for a second.
They probably have a craft table where they cut out McConaughey words and are making live, love, cherish posters for the back of their McConaughey
inspirational.
Yeah.
I'm just setting this up because this is Tracy's room.
Oh yeah.
So I got to get Tracy all set up in here. So you go. Freshly thumbed copy of Green Lights comes with every stay at the Brechel Inn.
Yeah, you could probably put that away. Put that in another room.
Man. Yeah, he's gonna be.
She reads about dragons and fairies and fucking castles.
It's all in there, bro.
It's all in there, man.
It's all fun till McConaughey sweeps into the club and everybody's caught in his fucking beauty wake. Oh shit, Even the dudes follow McConaughey around. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen here, but I want to fuck that dude.
I'll have to have Todd. Maybe Chaille, maybe you can find this, and maybe we talked about this. But when Austin FC opened their season.
The soccer, football.
The opening game they finally had the MLS season opened up in the spring, but their first home game was in June. The stadium was finally ready. McConaughey's part owner, and he came out in a green suit, beating a giant drum at the center of the field, getting the whole crowd going. And there's no way you can watch that and not think this motherfucker has something figured out. So experiencing that was cool to watch a video of it. Would have been even better to be at the stadium. Would have been even better to be McConaughey. To be the guy that, he just does that shit, I'm in.
He's well known as a guy who likes to play the drums.
He's tribal,
bongos, and then also that scene from Wolf of Wall Street with the tum 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 or whatever. So I mean, it makes sense.
He's this generation's Bill Murray, that great fucking energy live fucking. He's not probably as much of a prankster as Murray.
He's not a comic.
You got to cut away.
Yeah, you're right though that he's an in the moment guy like Murray is. Everything Bill Murray does is the same way where they're present with you at
Man,
all times.
You know how present and in the moment I would be if I had billions of dollars. Holy shit!
Chad, I'm not saying that that's not why.
Yeah, I'm admiring it as well as you. Yeah, no, that's fucking.
But it is a thing. Like I'm just fascinated. Like what it must be like to be McConaughey, like the Being John Malkovich movie. You know, it would be a trip to be inside that dude's head for a while and walk around.
Erickson, you are so all in to McConaughey. I mean, it's I mean, yeah, it's I don't want to say disturbing. That's the wrong word.
Well,
it is it's a side of you I've
But
never
I finally
seen.
care about something.
Other than soccer and F1, yeah.
There's
comedy.
two way to go. There's two ways to
I
go
don't
for
care
these
about
all
comedy.
these new
That's been
Texas
clear.
these new Texas transplants. Is you can either go all in with Willie or go all in on McConaughey. And I thought Erickson would go all in on Willie, but no, he's definitely McConaughey.
I do enjoy Willie quite a bit. I would have to say he's an Austin a legend. You know, he runs through the streets here, not literally.
Yeah. Well, he's a runner.
Yeah.
Yeah, Willie. I don't know
if
he
he's
still
a runner
is.
in this fucking town, he's running early in the goddamn morning.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's 105 degrees by 9 a.m. It is fucked here.
That's why he's so thin. But I know a few, like, it's probably been 10 years, but when he was in town, he talked about that he jogs a few miles every day. Probably, that's why he's still around, smoking all that herb and keeping himself healthy.
When McConaughey runs for governor, he can put Willie in his cabinet.
Willie's not going to be around.
Oh, this is happening soon, dude. Willie will be around for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. McConaughey for governor was a fucking, I mean, he should do it right sooner rather than later because it's like the buffoonery in politics now. It's like fucking, it's like who would think that some of the people who are in Congress, like, oh yeah, that fucking loud cunt from the bar. Are you serious? She's in Congress. That one, yeah, that one. Or like it's a pretty low bar, and celebrity buys a lot at a low bar.
Yeah.
You see,
well,
at a low bar.
I don't want to dip into being too political without a punchline, but the hearings on the January 6th started today, and I can say I have a bit of a man crush also on Adam Kinzinger because he is the rep from the district I grew up in Illinois. He's the Peoria and north of Peoria guy, and he's one of the Republicans who's like, fuck Trump. This is crazy. Let's find out what happened. I want to get to the bottom of this. And he's being vilified as a Republican for it. And, kudos to him, too.
Yeah, I watched that, too.
I did, too.
It takes a bunch of fucking assholes to make me feel bad for cops. That's all I got. I mean, it's like every one of those police officers, like, man, I would have jumped in and tried to protect them. It's like, thanks a lot, you fucking over the top religious zealot motherfuckers for pushing normalcy that far to this. Like, it's like people who don't trust cops are now going, God damn it, save them. What are you fucking people doing? It's they went a little over the top. And if they don't do something about it, that's without getting too political, if they if we did the same thing, went to like the state fair and beat the shit out of some people and fucking rolled people out and committed all that kind of fucking violence and shit, you would think that there'd have to be big repercussions. And this is like, oh well, it was it wasn't that big of a deal. It was a protest. Fuck that. They did damage. They got to go to fucking jail.
Absolutely. And the people who sat idly by and actively encouraged and aided and abetted in it need to be brought out and held accountable.
I'm not going to pay my traffic tickets if the fucking Congress people who incited a riot don't get a fucking reprimand. So why should anybody,
dude?
What about covering it up by saying it was just a normal day of tours at the Capitol. I mean, those
Chaille, you
people,
forgot to say not to get too political. That's
Yeah, yeah,
sorry,
right,
not
right,
to get
right.
too
that's
political.
Yeah, that's the
what I
no.
said before
Hey, I
they got too
got.
political. You have to say
It's
that
my
first.
fault.
I tried to get it
Yeah.
in before Chad came back so we could transition to something funny like
Yeah.
cartoons or
That
dolls.
was a normal night of music at the Roadhouse. Playing guitarists to get the fences
Chad,
up.
how are your grandparents? What's happening? I know that you guys had a bunch more rain.
Yeah, it just rained right now. The thing just flooded, but it did not get up in their property. I got concrete barriers put in by the county this morning.
Oh, your buddy, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I stacked sandbags all around those. We're gonna backfill all that, so it makes that corner buttressed against the flood next time, and it's going good. We got the people that come out and tell you if you have mold or not in your walls are coming out tomorrow.
That'll
And
be big.
that's huge, because once they do that, then they can release it so that we can find a contractor that can do repairs, so that things are moving finally. But
Right on. All right. Good.
thanks.
That's
And
all.
how's life in the motel?
This morning, they consider me a permanent resident. I can tell because they put a crappy dining room chair outside my door.
Brought you a little Smoky Joe grill to set there.
Well, that might be the next level. But this morning, I go to leave at about 6:30 to go out, and my motorcycle's parked directly in front of my door. And then I walk outside, and there's some guy sitting on the chair, literally outside my door. And then another guy leaning up against the light pole next to my motorcycle. And I just come out and I go, "What the fuck is going on here?" And the guy starts going, "Nice motorcycle, nice motorcycle." And the other guy that was by my motorcycle just walks away, all suspicious like.
Wow.
So that was fucking shitty.
Yeah.
I hated being away all morning because I had to take some laundry over to do it, so I couldn't fit my computer and stuff in there. So my computer and stuff stayed in here. Usually I try to take it out of here.
I think that you'd be all right though. They laid eyes on you and felt your aura. Like you might be gone, but it's like there are other rooms. You know what I mean? It's like maybe we leave this room alone.
Yeah. Maybe Chad's considered just a regular sized dude in that town. Like everybody's like that.
These guys were pretty little Hispanic guys, and now that you mention that, whenever they were
colored underwear,
the other guy, he gathered up his breakfast belongings and got out of my chair and goes, "Sorry, and as he walked out, said sorry about 5 times.
Yeah, he just wanted the chair, man.
Listen, there's a lot of chairs outside here.
Really?
Yeah.
From a guy who didn't always have a chair, when you want a chair, you just walk down and swipe a chair and put it down by your area. And then somebody will swipe it back. It's a jungle out here.
Yeah. Oh, it's like in Denmark, those bikes that you can just ride and then park and walk into the shop, and you come out and the bike's gone because someone else took it, and find another bike.
Yeah. Don't put too much into that bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say umbrellas. It's like umbrellas, They're just left at the front door and somebody else takes it.
I've had the same umbrella for 30 years.
Yeah.
The key is I don't even fucking need an umbrella.
You never take it out with you?
I never, I got it like years ago.
So it's brand new?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, I don't, it's like it's bad luck to open in the house. There's really no point in it. I mean, rain happens. Like, I'm not going to, stop it. Fuck that. Yeah,
that's one way to have the same umbrella for 30 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I need it for a pair. I was considering putting it over weed plants. Oh, and by the way, those are all chicks.
Yeah.
Oh,
those 6 plants I thought were dudes because they just got all mature early. It's just sexy broads getting all their pubic hair on early.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
You're about to take them Pretty Woman shopping. Get them something real nice.
Yeah, collage.
Good. How long do you have till you can cultivate?
I don't know though. I mean, I think it's kind of on your call when they start flowering up and stuff. But
Yeah.
my brothers all came up, and Larry didn't go up. It's like he made it up the stairs and into a chair, and then I don't know what he did, but when he left, there was like his area where he was at was sticky. And I just stained the deck, so I was real hypersensitive about sticky.
So is that Brother Fest?
Yeah,
that
that's
happened
it.
already?
That it?
Uh-huh. That's
Nice.
Larry clambered in back of that thing there, where there was a hanging bee jar with shit and plants and shit, and he's not very mobile, but he got behind that fucking thing real quick, and it's like perfect placement for him. But I wouldn't have advised it. It's like, whoa, man.
Who's which ones are which of the other three?
Jeff and David and Jeff are sitting down.
In the middle.
David slouched down further.
David's got his arms, or Jeff's got his arms crossed.
Jeff's got his arms crossed, and him and Larry both have the same fucking face almost there. And then that's John there standing like a cop.
Oh, the polo?
Yeah.
And remind us then again the order of.
So David's
ages.
the oldest, and then Larry, and then John, and then Jeff and me.
Gotcha. Okay.
But, Larry left a sticky thing, and then where Jeff was sitting, there were a couple of chunks of watermelon thrown over the rail into just a flower bed. Like, okay, I mean, it's the first time we've all been together in 8 years, so let's whatever Larry did. I don't think it was I don't know. It didn't seem like a soda spill, but I was like, well, fuck, man. I just thought I'd dump water on it and then it would clean up, but then it did not. So I had to get down and scrub it up.
But you thought the water by virtue of pouring the water on it would eliminate the stickiness?
Well, I needed to screw, because I just stained the deck and shit, so I didn't think, but it was, whatever he did, it was like, like.
So it was like sap or like syrup?
Like sap kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like a little thicker, and that isn't something that comes out of the trees here. It's come out of my brother. Probably good we all got together because Larry's
final secretions.
Google, is it normal to leak sap? My brother Jeff got here. He was a bit early. I was down at a bar, and the phone rang, and shit, Jeff's home, or Jeff's at my place. He was an hour early, and he brought his daughter and granddaughter, and that's who his daughter took the picture. So it was pretty uneventful, though. Larry bought the pizza. And then I mentioned that Todd Snyder was coming to town, and then he insisted on giving me money and to get him a ticket. I'm like, well, no, that kind of ruins the evening for me. The whole thing. And he's like, yeah, like what, how are you going to get up here? You haven't had a driver's license in 10 years. It hasn't stopped him from hitting the road. But, so right away he's that. And then where are you going to stay? And like, what is that sticky shit that was on the deck?
I think you are the answer to all those prayers, right?
Yeah.
You buy the ticket, you pick him up, you take him to the show, you let him crash at your place, and then you drive him home.
You are the sticky shit.
You are the sticky shit.
He's stuck to you.
I think I just took him for ticket money.
Yeah, he should have just been like, "Oh, sorry, man, sold out." That Todd Snyder show sell out of me almost immediately.
One, Larry, sorry.
Yeah, next tour maybe. Hang in
I know,
there, buddy.
Like kind of this get together was kind of like, well, I mean, at least on my end, it was like, well, Larry ain't very healthy, so let's just do this, and then I thought it would be like somewhere else. I didn't anticipate hosting it, but it was a couple pieces of fruit thrown down and then scrub up the deck afterwards. It was it could have been way worse.
Yeah,
and it was like 2 hours.
No one lost a tooth.
No, about 2 hours. Larry's got the best teeth of all of us because they don't quite fit his mouth, but they were, like they were probably like he bought them at like a used Hollywood actors, estate
Teeth
sale.
are us.
He got the Buseys.
Yeah, he got Gary Busey's. Gary Busey got rid of a few experimental pairs.
Yeah, they might not fit Larry, but they'll fit the next guy.
Yeah.
There is a trade-in on all dentures.
And Larry always has new fucking clothes. So it's like, when I get stuff, I'm like, am I even going to be alive long enough to wear that shirt? But Larry just gets new shoes and new vest and shit. It's like, man.
You just got new shoes, Andy.
I know. But I haven't worn them yet because I assume they'll. We're too hard to get. Shoes. Yeah, you just get them delivered and then that's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to look at them for a while. Shoes like that.
Yeah.
Andy, I think you're the best looking brother, but Larry's the coolest.
He does looks like the most fun.
Yeah.
Which one's Larry? Is he the guy in the back?
All the way in the back.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like Leonard Skinner's getting back together and going on.
Yeah, totally.
No, you can't.
Or at least a reunion of the road crew.
Yeah. You can't be in a picture with Larry and not have people think you're in a bluegrass band. I should have had a wash tub out. And I'm like, oh, you guys play bluegrass. Yeah. John's the security guy. But John, I don't know. John and Jeff are both kind of unhealthy or have had health problems anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's a three-way. We could all go. Well, anybody who's riding with Larry could go at any given time. But, David, being the oldest, seems to be the healthiest.
Yeah.
He's the guy right next to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that the one that's all Jesused up?
No, Jeff, the one next with his arms crossed, is sort of the Jesus. He posts a lot of Facebook things about Jesus, and and one time he goes, "Boy, your comedy is really anti-Christian, huh?" I go, "Yeah." And you like it? And
he just growled like a bear after that.
Yeah, I didn't ask him. Have you gotten the new one?
Yeah.
The new one's out, Jeff.
Yeah. Well, really though, Andy, if you think about it, your family was kind of fucked up. It was fucked up for your brother too. He had his own parts in it, and I don't know what kind of asshole he is, but it's not surprising that religion stuck or took to one of you. You know what I mean?
Jeff,
you all got dipped into the fucking pool, and it's not surprising that was the option at least one of you took.
It's kind of surprising it wasn't more, huh?
Right.
I mean,
well, I think we've all been Christians at one point or another. I was real young, and then when I didn't even know what I was doing, I was just a follower. David was into it for a minute, but he seems to be more into alien, we're somehow related to aliens more so than the Jesus thing. And Larry, when he went through rehab and shit, he was he said he was a born again Christian, but he still laced conversation with inappropriate talk and F-bombs and stuff. But but John and Jeff both went through, fucking were in church, still probably consider themselves born again.
Yeah.
But
so that's a 40%. 2
yeah.
out of 5.
Yeah, I'm waiting till, if I drop dead and then I start seeing lights and then I see pearly gates, then I'm going to be like, well, let me hear more about this.
Yeah. No, I think at that point you just pretend you're Jeff. Try to slide in as Jeff Andrist.
I'll assume I'm dead and I'll walk towards the light and it'll be Chaille going, I'm not giving you the
over
light.
here. The light flashed over there.
Yeah.
Keep going. You've only done 5 minutes.
Wrong light.
Yeah.
Wrong light.
That's the
You've
afterlife.
got 10 more years.
Yeah, oh fuck. I ran out of material 16 years ago. Keep going, stretch it.
St. Peter.
Yeah. But that's that's the first time I think we've been together since my mom's funeral. Because there's no reason to get together. But this was like Larry's plan, and then David facilitated it. I hosted it. Larry paid for the pizza, and yeah, that was it.
Happened with Larry, dude. He's got all new clothes. He's paying for pizza. I think he's burning through the inheritance money. I don't think there's going to be anything left for any of you guys.
Or he found your wallet.
Right. Yeah. Right. Right now, I think Larry had an estate. It would be like one estate. The one trailer would pay to get rid of the other trailer. Like we sold the trailer, we got just enough to do demo on the one next to it.
If I had to guess, I'd say Larry knows how to work the system, and you guys are going to be left cleaning up his fucking
Yeah.
trailers.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the thing with like when my mom passed, I think because she got remarried and stuff, we didn't have to kick in on the funeral. But usually, like when my grandma, she was always talking about, oh, when the Lord says that's it, and talking about death and everything. I don't know why I'm still around and stuff. Well, I think the Lord's keeping you around to pay for your own fucking funeral. Because, for years she's fucking an old lady, and she knows she's done. Oh wow!
Whoa.
You hear it?
Is that
Back to the echo.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Was that
But
it?
it is on Chaille's end.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
So, but
Sorry.
Grandma talked to that she's on her way out and shit. No, didn't kick in for her funeral at all. So when she died, it was like we had to sell her shit, and that's it was a real half-shot fucking operation. And we didn't get her headstone placed for like 5 years because that was me and David went and did, like somebody gave me the granite for it, but it was like as much as my family planned on it, she didn't fucking have a nickel for her funeral expenses.
Right.
So
yeah, I think if you want a funeral, you should have something set aside for yourself and some instructions. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, we know Doug's bit about it. I know I agree completely. Like my wishes will be to be given to science or tossed into the dumpster. It doesn't matter. Whatever. Do whatever you have to do with it.
Yeah.
It's not going to make any difference.
Yeah,
I'm not
just
going to
leave
be
me-
there.
Yeah,
So-
by then I think just leave me where I fall.
Yeah.
Like they do in Wisconsin, where there's a dead animal on the road, just leave it to rot.
Turkey
Think about-
vultures will come take care of it.
Like see 6 or 7 people piled outside of a bar, you may not want to go in there. This place, I don't know.
This place is rough.
It's called the Roadhouse. Don't go in there.
Circle S Saloon, man. Keep going.
No, I wouldn't want to be used in some fucking bar's marketing campaign.
Yeah.
Because it would not be the bar I liked, probably. But I would be definitely like, my wishes are give me to a medical school, let them do whatever they want, or let them practice autopsies, whatever it is. Just don't give me to the funeral mortician school. Like I don't want to be involved in that bullshit.
Yeah.
But,
It almost seems like a
the,
scam that is harder and harder to pull off. The whole
But
funeral
dying?
business. No, the funeral business. It's like, because they used to, it's like a kind of a throwback thing where, you have the big funeral.
You never used to be able to buy a coffin. You could
Mhm.
not buy a coffin unless you went through Batesville Casket Company, who had the monopoly. And all of the funeral directors made sure that no one sold fucking coffins. Now you can go online. You can buy a Kiss coffin right now.
Oh. Yeah.
Not that you want to.
I know 4 people who should.
You can get one with
cremate
Ace
my
Frehley
mother
in it.
and she had no
Or no, Peter Chris.
no-
Is that the
I told everybody she didn't have wishes, so I just said she didn't want a service because that's the easiest thing to do. And then they kept trying to sell me coffins, and I'm like, I don't want a coffin. I'm like, what do you? She's gonna be cremated. Like, what do you transport her over in? And they were like all disgusted about it. Like, well, it's plywood and 2x4s, and I'm like, yeah, that one. That's the one I want. It's $85.
Yeah, I don't think you should be. It's hard to do this. Granted, I understand that. But I don't think you should be any more attached to your loved one's mortal coil or your own than you would the hair they cut off at the barbershop. It's just part of you at the time, and you're sloughing off skin and parts of you everywhere you go. That's what the dogs are smelling. It's just, this is just a big clump of it right at the end, but it's still the same shit. and you're not worried about, your
satin and
your
shit.
toenail clippings. You're saving your toenail clippings.
Yeah, they put a pillow in the fucking coffin, and it costs probably $500 for a
You know who
fucking
gets that?
satin.
Probably.
You probably get to feel like, you know what? Gran is allergic to goose down. We need a synthetic fiber pillow. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You know,
But see,
Mr. Pillow's got his
Yeah.
fucking crooked fucking hand in that market is the
But Andy,
fucking death pillow.
that is the biggest scam, is that people feel like they're not doing a service if they don't have the satin pillow and they don't have it lined, and it's like, oh, well, we need to get a good suit for Papa.
Right. Yeah,
And that's like, no, because they don't even dress them in the pants
your
if they don't
relative
fucking
better
open
than
the coffin.
Yeah, you dress them better than they dress in life. Put them in a more luxurious bed than they've ever slept in.
Who wants to
Put
sleep
them on
in
a
a
twin
suit?
mattress
That's
with a
big
fucking
move,
stain
right?
sheet.
You put them in pajamas.
They
Yeah.
Why
should
do
be
you
in
put me in a
pajamas.
suit? I should be in PJs with some slipper.
Yeah, fucking make it, just like fucking ridiculous. He said, "Oh I went to a funeral. He's in milk crates." Like, goddamn, fucking low. Like, you should try to out low budget everybody's funeral. Like, I just buried my mom. It was like $6. No way. That's fucking.
Well, when my mom passed away, my dad too, they were cremated, right? And it was so weird. This is like 15 years ago. You can't. It's such a fucking racket that they have it to where it's like, so we're looking at urns, and there's like, it just is. This is a fucking mason jar, basically, right? It's like, so we have a modest one here, $1,200 for a fucking pickle jar. Are you fucking? They just will not say, what do you want, like a box? They just keep going, well, we have a more reasonable one here, $500 for the fucking thing that isn't painted. It's the same fucking thing. And then you have to break them down to go, I want the cheapest thing that you're legally allowed to put a body in. And it is honestly, that is exactly, it has to, they work you so hard on your emotions and your attachment to your loved one that it's like, look, you don't understand. My mom doesn't give a shit. She's dead. And we're gonna put her. I need to be able to get this into the car, and you'll never see me again. And and I still had to pay like $30 for like a fucking box that you'd put a vase in at Nordstrom's.
Yeah, they're worse
for free.
than like
At Nordstrom's. It's free.
Yeah, I think Marilyn Manson should jump into that market, just like a death jar. Have your ashes put in a Marilyn Manson.
I think he's busy right now, Andy.
Well, me too. I'm busy as well.
Starting
He's
up
not branching out at the moment.
Businesses currently.
True. His brand is being refocused.
Well, I'm not saying it wouldn't even necessarily work with that. Might work with the branding, but he's just.
I mean, like any celebrity could get in and just like like a fucking Clooney urn or whatever. It's like
I think Matthew McConaughey is a better example.
Right.
You could make it a jar, and then it could also be a bongo drum.
Don't even suggest that Matthew McConaughey is going to die someday, Chaille.
No, I said he would be the spokesman for like an honest burial.
Yeah, he could do like McConaughey funeral homes. So you have a guy. Yeah, you have a McConaughey disciple, and he plays the bongos while you fucking say a few things about your loved one.
Yeah, man.
Shit, man. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like you could have open micers talk about the dead relative. Most people who are at funerals are lame fucking people. And it doesn't matter. They just showed up because the fucking car picked them up, took them to this funeral. They don't care. And just have fucking open mics come out and do a quick funeral. McConaughey could bang the drum. I can't. I mean, I don't know. Funerals just seem so fucking outdated. Like maybe I don't know if COVID had to, because if you don't go to a funeral home when you're in that initial grieving process, you'll see through all the bullshit and go, well, why would I fucking do that? Let me put
Good point.
and not only that, put my brother in a Slurpee cup, the big fat fuck. I never really loved him, and we'll put him in there.
It points to the whole mistake, I think, of doing anything other than being cremated if you don't donate your body. Right? You should be cremated, because if you get buried in a casket in a cemetery, you end up creating this other place that your family now is guilted into attaching to
Maintaining.
you.
Yeah.
You're not there and you have never been there, but now they have to come back to the cemetery to your headstone and leave flowers. And if they don't, they feel like
Right.
an
Yeah.
asshole because they're neglecting it. And it's just like, another example of now this is becoming a burden instead of,
They should make
trying
it
to
like
make it a
instead of
celebration in some way.
they use the term loved ones and stuff. Just start a company, and we're a cut rate corpse removal company. Like your relative's been dead for more than 3 hours. That's no longer a loved one. That's a corpse. That's a hot mess. We'll come pick it up. We'll take it. We'll burn it. We'll bring you some fucking ashes. And that, it's like, oh, because like somebody dies and you're like, oh, well, where are we going to come up with $5,000
Yeah.
when it should just be like, oh, let's call those people. What's their
Yeah.
well, that ad? It's always on late night TV. Corpse removal. 1-800 dead mama.
Dead
Yeah.
mama.
Yeah. We'll also take water out of your basement.
Yeah, sump
Yeah.
hump and hump sumps. Whatever. We'll do anything.
They do
One of
make
the things,
they do make urns inspired by Donnie's urn, the Folgers can.
Right.
They do sell urns that are Folgers cans with a base, and they look pretty good.
$95, right? Instead of the
Yeah, probably nothing. I mean,
$7 it should be
you could actually get one plus
$7, and it should come filled with Folgers.
yeah, you should get coffee with it.
Well,
Could be a whole
well,
evening, like what happened with Doug's mother is like you have a loved one who's passing over to corpsedom. Is like have a little party, and then at the end of the party, you go, well, we called this company, and they just burn them right on the spot here. So we get to see them burn up. Oh fuck yeah! And then we have a appropriate fucking like a late dessert.
The
Some
problem
coffee.
with that, Andy, is that it won't take long before you end up getting the people who don't come to the wedding, but they come to the reception. You know what I mean? It's like, we're
Heard
only
your grandpa's getting burned alive.
coming-
Yeah, were
light
you a
them up.
friend?
We'll
No,
be there
no,
for the piring.
no.
Yeah, there's another thing. Just going back to when my mom was at the mortuary. They're like, "Would you want to see the body?" I'm like, "Absolutely not."
Oh.
And then the other thing is like, "All right, now, before we put her, they have a word for processing. Before they push her into the fucking oven, right?
Yeah.
We need some kind of a vessel for her to be in to be pushed, and it's like." Wait a minute, you want me to pay extra for a box that you're going to burn? And then you want me to believe that I spend all this money and you're going to actually burn that box? It would just be probably a bag and you'd push her in there. I go, this is so fucking rife with scam. Like every step of the way I go, do you have a cardboard box? He goes, well, we've got hold on. We've already done this dance with the urn.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to bottom first, cheapest, lowest price. And it was a fucking cardboard box, and it was illegal for them to not put her in something contained to go into the oven. Fucking insane.
Chaille, the whole thing with the viewing, people, whenever my mom died, we were like, I don't know, nobody wants to view? And then all of a sudden, like, people started asking other people.
It's barbaric.
And one random lady who knew my mom was like, yes, I would like to view the body. And then the family's like, well, we have to respect that. I'd pay $200. Well, her family paid it. I didn't pay shit.
Yeah.
They paid $250 to prepare her for a viewing for one lady.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would love to track that lady down and let her know, you were the only one who fucking asked for a viewing, and so it cost
Give her a bill.
Yeah.
Shit.
I think back in the old days,
creepy...
you did a viewing because you needed proof that the body, that's really Billy the Kid. That's why they stuck him out in front of
Well, have you seen that show on Netflix? It's called Lore, where they it comes from a podcast, but it's like they look into they tell stories of macabre things from the past, And one of the things was that it's not that long ago that you could appear dead and not be dead, and you would end up pretty close to being buried before you woke back up or whatever happened. And it even became a thing where there's like patents, and there were devices sold for like coffins that had like
a bell.
One of them had a bell. Yeah, you'd ring a bell in case you woke up in there and shit. like, you know, yeah, I don't know.
They, they'd have
There's
Don't bother
some
graves.
knocking
You could
process
go
that
and
needs to
look
happen. Make
in
sure
a
they're dead.
window.
What's
Yeah.
that, Chad?
I said some of the graves they had, you could have a window, or you could
Yeah.
walk up and look in the window at the grave. I saw that on a documentary.
There's this Asian, she's a Japanese woman who's friends with my wife for years. She was an exchange student back in high school, and this woman came here and insisted, like whatever bad luck or different things because we don't feed our dead relatives, and it's actually a she's a kooky bitch, but there are other Japanese people who do this, and they
Yeah.
put little servings of food out for their dead relatives and all this
Yeah.
fucking nonsense shit. And it's like, man, like fucking relatives, once they're dead, that's when you're done with them.
Right.
You don't have
Can you
them.
imagine?
You don't
anymore.
have to
Now
feed them anymore.
Yeah.
Putting out
crackers.
menus for all your dead family. All right, what do you want?
Right. And then insisting that, if you don't, it's like bad luck.
Right.
It's like another Thanksgiving where no one actually eats the food.
Yeah. It's that's where you get rodents, Japan, you idiot.
That's
That is a Japanese phenomenon though, because I saw a thing
the
about.
living or
Sorry, Chad, say that again.
oh no, I'm so sorry. I think I'm on a delay. My internet might be fucked. I'm gonna be quiet, smoke weed over here.
I was going to say that I saw a thing about in Japan. I don't remember what it was, a documentary or something about one of the big tidal waves they had there, where a whole city got completely wiped out, and it was the amount of people killed was massive, and after that there's sightings in the hundreds, probably thousands, of ghosts of loved ones who are seen in the what's left of the area that's been made into a memorial. The town's not really there anymore, but all of this. But it speaks to the Japanese, at least part of the Japanese culture, the tendency of believing in superstition and ghosts, and these are people who are convinced that they're having conversations and spending time with and walking with loved ones, and it's the probably in this case the trauma of losing everyone like that, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like there aren't 3,000 people in New York who are talking to their dead relatives from 9/11. You know what I mean? That's not a thing here.
Yeah.